Do you know the exact moment a woman decides she can't stop thinking about someone? It's not his looks. It's not his money. It's not even his confidence. It's one specific moment where someone asked her a question that she had never even asked herself. In this video, I'm going to give you 7 of those questions. Questions that turn an ordinary conversation into something she replays in her head hours later. But the 7th question is the most powerful one, and I'm saving it for last. Because before you use it, there's something you need to understand first. Let's get into it. Research shows the average woman interacts with 30 to 50 people every single day. How many of those people does she actually remember? 2, maybe 3. So where do all the others go? In this video, I'm going to show you the psychological reason why certain people get stuck in someone's mind and why everyone else fades away without a trace. More importantly, I'm going to show you how to become one of those 2 or 3. But before that, I need you to do something. Think about your last conversation with a woman you were genuinely interested in, not what you said. How it felt. Did it feel alive, like something real was unfolding? Or did it feel like you were both reading from a script you didn't even realize you were following? That difference is everything. And once you understand why, the questions will make complete sense. If you watch this video until the end, your conversations will never feel the same again. Subscribe right now, because what's coming next goes even deeper. And in a few minutes, I'm going to tell you about the mistake most men make. Within the first 5 minutes of a conversation, a mistake that quietly kills attraction before it even starts. You might be making it right now without realizing it. I'll get to that shortly. But first, a study from Harvard University found something fascinating. People don't remember information. People remember how they felt. That means what you say doesn't matter as much as you think. How she feels while talking to you, that's what matters. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Research from UCLA shows that a single deep question can simultaneously trigger the release of dopamine and oxytocin in the brain, the chemicals responsible for trust and attraction. In other words, asking the right question is literally chemistry. Did you know this before? Drop "I knew" or "I had no idea" in the comments right now. I read every single one. Okay, here's that mistake I mentioned. What do most men do in the first 5 minutes of a conversation? They talk about themselves, their job, their achievements, their travel, their goals. And there's nothing wrong with that, unless that becomes the entire focus. Because here's what actually happens in her mind. She stops listening to what you're saying and starts evaluating how it feels to be around you. And when the conversation is mostly about you, it becomes a performance. And she is exhausted from watching performances. Performance says, "Look at me." Connection says, "Tell me about you." One creates distance. The other creates depth. That one shift from performing to discovering will change everything about how your conversations feel. This question sounds simple, but what it does underneath the surface is extraordinary. It invites her into her own story of growth. She starts talking about old relationships that changed her perspective, beliefs about herself she's outgrown, moments where life surprised her in ways she didn't expect. And when someone talks about their own evolution, they naturally open up emotionally. But here's where most men ruin it. The moment she finishes, they say, "Oh, I had the same thing happen to me when..." Don't do that. Stay quiet. Let 3 or 4 seconds pass after she speaks. That silence isn't awkward. That silence says, "What you just said actually matters to me." And that feeling is rarer than any compliment you could give her. Has anyone ever made you feel truly heard like this? Drop your experience in the comments. I want to know. Notice what this question doesn't ask. It doesn't ask what she does for a living. It doesn't ask what she's achieved. It asks who she is when she has nothing to prove to anyone. And when she answers that, she reconnects with that feeling in real time. And because you're the one who took her there, she starts to associate that good feeling with you. That's silent attraction. No effort, no performance, just presence. 2 questions in. The next one is different. This one draws out a dream she may not have shared with anyone in years. And your reaction in that moment will determine everything. I'll show you exactly how to handle it right after this. If this is already shifting the way you think about connection, hit like right now. It tells me you want more of this kind of content. And if you know someone who struggles with this, share this video with them. It might genuinely change something for them. After you ask this, stay quiet. Because she will pause, not a confused pause. A thoughtful one. Most people never give themselves permission to think this way. Life conditions them to be realistic, to stay within limits, to filter their desires before they even speak them. This question removes all of that. She might tell you about a dream she quietly abandoned, a passion she set aside for responsibility, a version of her life that exists only in the back of her mind. And as she speaks, watch her energy shift. More emotion, more expression. Sometimes a glimpse of vulnerability she doesn't usually show. Your job in that moment, don't fix it, don't advise, don't redirect. Just hold space for it. Here's a scenario that makes this real. A woman once shared that she always wanted to move abroad and start over, but she stayed because of her family. One man immediately said, "You should just go for it. Life is short." Another man said, "What do you think your life would feel like if you did?" The first response killed the depth. The second kept her in that reflective space, one she forgot, one she thought about for days. Remember when I said, out of 30 to 50 people she talks to daily, she only truly remembers 2 or 3? Now you understand why. Those 2 or 3 made her feel something she didn't expect. They didn't just notice her. They saw her, and that's the difference. Notice means your appearance, your energy, your style. Seen means your interior world, your evolution, your dreams. These 7 questions are how you become the second type of person. I'm curious, which of these questions feels most powerful to you so far? Tell me in the comments. I personally reply to as many as I can. This question opens a door most people never even knock on. She might tell you, people assume she's always strong, but she falls apart more than she shows. Or that people think she's cold, when really she's just careful about who she lets in. Or that she gives more than she receives and doesn't know how to change that pattern. And in this moment, your presence matters more than anything you could say. If you get distracted, if you try to lighten the mood too quickly, you break that connection completely. But if you stay with her, if you simply say, "That makes a lot of sense," or "I can see why you'd feel that way," that's enough, because what she's responding to is not your words, it's your presence. 5 questions down. Question 6 takes her into the past, but in a way that reveals her deepest values without her even realizing it. And question 7 ties everything together. But after the 7th question, there's one thing you must do. Without it, all 7 questions mean nothing. I'll tell you exactly what that is at the very end. If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be? This question does something subtle but powerful. It reveals her values. It shows you what she's learned, what she carries forward, what she wishes she'd known sooner. She might say, trust yourself more. Walk away from people who don't respect you earlier. Stop being so hard on yourself. And notice, these aren't just lessons from the past. They're windows into how she thinks right now. When you understand this about someone, you understand them at a level most people never reach. This question seems simple, but the answer is the most revealing of all. Because freedom isn't just a concept. It's a feeling, a core value, something people spend their whole lives moving toward, often without fully realizing it. Her answer might start simple, doing what I want, when I want. But if you gently stay with it, if you ask, what does that feel like for you? It becomes something deeper. Freedom might mean emotional peace. It might mean never having to explain herself. It might mean full self-expression without fear of judgment. And when you understand what freedom means to her, you understand what she's actually looking for at the core of everything. Now, here's what I promised you. The one thing that makes all 7 questions work. Don't ask them all in a row. That's an interview. She'll feel it immediately. Think of these as doorways, not a checklist. You open one. You step inside. You stay there for a while. You explore it naturally. And only when it feels right, you move to another. But the real secret? Learn to be comfortable with silence. After every answer she gives, pause for 3 to 5 seconds before you respond. Don't fill it. Don't rush. Don't immediately relate it back to yourself. That pause tells her what you just said is worth sitting with. And that feeling is more attractive than anything you could say. Because the most powerful thing you can offer someone is not your best story. It's your full attention. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 7 questions felt most powerful to you? And have you ever had a conversation where someone made you feel truly understood? Drop your answer in the comments below. I read every single comment, and I reply to as many as I can, because this is a conversation, not a broadcast. Here's what I want you to remember. Women are not drawn to the loudest man in the room. They're not drawn to the most impressive resume. They are drawn to the man who makes them feel something real. The one who sees them beyond the surface. The one who listens without waiting for his turn to speak. When your presence creates that kind of experience, you don't just hold attention. You become unforgettable. I'm Emily Carter. and you're watching Female Game. If this video gave you a new way of seeing connection and attraction, like it, share it, and subscribe. Because every week I go deeper into the psychology of relationships, attraction, and human behavior in a way that actually makes a difference. See you in the next one.